Man, we got the coolest merch, man. Right now, back in the Geekdom 101 store, the legendary Fusion merchandise line. You can get this in multiple colors, not just shirts. You can also get hoodies and things of that nature. Multiple sizes, ships to almost any country in the world. I'm bringing this design back because Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta is a favorite now with Sparking Zero, and a lot of folks love this character, and this art is just phenomenal from Dead Dark. So get your hands on this exclusive piece of merchandise right now. The link is in the description. Click it and get yours today. Dragon Ball Daima episode 3 is upon us, and this episode is just called Daima. Short and sweet. In the last episode, Glorio appeared from the demon realm and offered to bring, or asked, to bring somebody to the demon realm with him to help solve the problem of finding Dende, and a favor from the king of the third demon realm, who we have not met yet. And so because his ship only can hold a small amount of people, it's Goku, Kaioshin, the Supreme Kai, and Glorio. They're the only ones going for now. In the meantime, Bulma, Vegeta, Piccolo are going to remain on Earth until Bulma finishes fixing the Supreme Kai ship, and then they will join them in the quest. So, first and foremost, the formatting of this episode is sort of back to the traditional anime standard, meaning we had the intro with the music and everything, the opening, then a small recap, then the episode title. So now the formatting is much more like other Dragon Ball shows and other anime overall. Now it feels kind of back to normal, the way things should be. So I'm not sure if we're going to get any more of those like longer special episodes like episode 1. Maybe at the end, but I'm not sure on that. So I guess right now we're going to keep it the way it is. So this episode called Daima is basically about Goku, Shin, and Glorio actually entering the demon realm. Now, in this episode, it focuses 100% on their story. They don't cut back to Earth. We don't see Bulma working on anything. We're just focusing on the journey to get to the Daimakai, which is the Great Demon Realm. Before I go into like the nitty and gritty of this episode, I want to say that first of all, if you are a fan of Star Wars, and I don't mean the current iteration of Star Wars under Disney, I mean the original George Lucas Star Wars, the original trilogy, specifically the very first one from 1977, A New Hope, you will love this episode because let me tell you, there is a lot of Star Wars in this episode and in this show overall. Toriyama loves Star Wars. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw the video I did about Toriyama's life that I put out on his birthday a few weeks after he passed away. But in that video, I talked about how his first big break came doing a Star Wars parody because he loves Star Wars. There is a lot of Star Wars in this episode. I mean a ton from the original movie. As well as, I'm going to say this, I think Glorio is going to end up being a fan favorite character when things are said and done. I don't know where the story's going to go with him. We talked a little bit last week about how maybe he's secretly a villain. He might have some secret plans, but this dude is awesome, and I really am enjoying his character so far. He's very much like Han Solo, not just in the fact that he dresses like Han Solo and has a blaster, but he's a bit more quiet, a bit more mysterious. But he's a pilot like Han Solo. So there's no question that Toriyama definitely drew inspiration from Star Wars for this episode. So I think if you like Star Wars and if you sort of like the exploration aspect of Dragon Ball, you'll like this because this episode really focused on getting to the demon realm and then trying to quickly explore and see what you can find. Lots of JRPG vibes. A lot of the music, like with the first couple of episodes, sound like very much like JRPG music. If you watch Dragon Quest Die or played any of the Dragon Quest games, you guys know how much I love Dragon Quest. This had the very, very similar vibes. You have to understand something about Daima, and I want to get this out. People are calling it GT 2.0 and stuff like that, and there's truth to that, but not entirely. The way that Daima is sort of structured is there's a little bit of original Dragon Ball, which is exploration and trying to find things, right? Then there's Dragon Ball Z, which is when we start getting the Super Saiyan forms, which is coming. The Super Saiyan transformations are coming. We saw them in the trailer. Goku has to, sort of calibrate his body because it's different now. The weight distribution is different. So once he figures that out, we'll get the Super Saiyan forms. And then there is obviously some GT stuff coming up as well with GT vibes. So yes, there's aspects of this series that are borrowing from all the different Dragon Ball anime, even a little bit from Super. And I like that. If it's a 40th anniversary anime, why not borrow from things of the past 40 years, even things that Toriyama did not work on? And there are lots of things in Daima coming up in the future that are certainly inspired from GT, but there's also stuff from Z and original Dragon Ball. So this one really does feel like it's as pure as it gets for the fans. And I want to reiterate something. This is the most Toriyama's ever been involved in an anime project besides the previous 3 movies. Prior to that, Toriyama would just write very basic manuscripts and then Toei would adapt them into episodes for Dragon Ball Super and, stuff like that. But that's for Super. And the manga as well, but he also worked with Totoro. But now what's happening is he wrote the story of Daima, the Toei writers are taking it, cutting it up into episodes, sending him their scripts, he makes modifications, edits, suggestions, puts in little jokes or whatever he wants to put in, factoids, sends it back to them. So just a little bit more information on the process of this episode. Now when it comes to lore, there's a few new lore details that are revealed in this episode, and I probably will be doing another Easter egg video like I have for the past couple of episodes. If you haven't watched those, you definitely need to, because I did my homework on those, and there's a lot of stuff from Daima that's Easter eggs, references, and clues for things in the past and in the future. So you definitely want to make sure you check out my Easter egg videos. I've been doing them on Mondays, but the one this week may drop sooner only because there's not too much to discuss, but there is some interesting stuff that I want to get into. When it comes to the meat and potatoes of this episode, Glorio is the pilot going through space. The grand tour has begun. Not really, it's not like that. And he goes all the way to the ends of the universe, which is where the gateway to the demon realm lies, to the world between worlds. Did a video this past weekend about the world between worlds, which sounds like something from Star Wars, and it is, but it's that little realm that we saw in episode 1 when we saw the demons go into it with the fish that can take you to anywhere you want to go. It's got little warp zones to go presumably anywhere. I mean, they ask what universe, so you could even go to another universe if you want to from that little area. Also, quick sidebar, I asked you guys in the community tab if you thought we're going to see fusion in Daima, and the results, or you can still vote if you want to, the results are there for now. Coming up this Sunday at 3 p.m. here live on the channel, I'll have Star Blast on, and we're going to discuss the possibility and speculate on whether or not we're going to see fusion in Dragon Ball Daima. So join us for that topic, Sunday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So some interesting bits here. The reason why Glorio is able to get to the other side of the universe where the gateway to the demon realm is so fast is because the ships from the demon realm, which they call airplanes in Japanese, but the ships from the demon realm have magic. They use magic, and that enhances their speed. I love that. Really cool way to incorporate like magic and technology together, which is kind of what Dr. Arinsu is really all about, but I like that it's more than just her. And when they actually get to the big fish, that we saw previously, this is the episode where he is named finally. Like I've been telling you guys in multiple videos and multiple streams, his name is Warp, and it's revealed here that is his name. And he gets mad because Goku refers to him as like a goldfish, in Japanese. And Supreme Kai, kind of like with Beerus, remember how Goku would like be very, very lighthearted and sort of crass around Beerus, and then Kaio and the other Kais were like, yo, like calm down, this is Lord Beerus. Same thing here where he's telling Goku like, you're gonna piss him off, dude, chill out. And I love Goku's naivete because it's part of his character. And in this case, they have to cooperate with him so they can get into the demon realm to actually resolve this issue. So Warp is not going to let them into the demon realm unless he sees their ears. Now, about 10 days ago in the members only section of the community tab, I told you guys that there was an episode where Goku's going to end up with pointy ears. That was an early spoiler, and I even wrote like, please do not click because I wrote a bunch of dots, so if you didn't want to be spoiled, you could skip it. And I discussed that Goku will have pointy ears in one episode, and I assumed it was in the demon realm, but that is an incorrect assumption. The pointy-eared Goku is something I was told about months ago, like in the summertime, but I didn't understand the context. Now it makes sense. Supreme Kai casts a spell on Goku to make his ears pointy so that Warp would think he was a demon and then let them through. When they went through, Goku's ears went back to normal again. So it's nice to see that, a lot of times when it comes to getting information, like early information, leaks, whatever you want to call them, sometimes you don't get full context. Sometimes you'll see images and not really understand what they mean. And it's nice that now we have an understanding of what's really going on. There's a little bit of foreshadowing here because they need a password to get access to the nexus point, to the realm between realms, the place where they can get to the demon realm. And Supreme Kai forgot to tell Kibito the password. So this could end up being a problem when it comes to them later on trying to get into the demon realm. But we'll get there when we get there. They also have a brief discussion about Goma and his magical abilities. This goes back to something that I talked about on stream as well, and what makes Daima different than Super, and that is that in Daima, Goku and the gang are going to be challenged not just by physically strong fighters, but by people who are adept at magical abilities. So it's not just going to be big fights, Goku versus Jiren, big muscles. This is a bit of a different challenge for Goku because he's going up against warlocks and magicians, and these things offer something fresh and different to Dragon Ball, and that's why it'll be interesting to look back at Daima and Super and compare and contrast how they sort of handled this whole thing. But of course, it is Dragon Ball, so you're going to get martial arts fight, you're going to get punches and kicks, you're going to get blasts. You know this, it's in the trailers, but I like that it's slightly different. It's a slightly different type of challenge, and it reminds me of what people wanted from the Moro arc. Remember how in the Moro arc, they had this awesome early introduction for Moro, and everybody was like, wow, this guy knows how to manipulate things that no other villains know how to do? There you go. I think that makes sense. And I do think that Moro probably is from the Demon Realm. If you were to, say, hey, do you really think he's from there? I mean, he's got the pointy ears, he's a warlock, it all kind of fits, right? So they go to Demon Realm level 3. That is where Glorio is from. That is the Demon Realm that we saw briefly in Dragon Ball Z when Gohan fought Dabura with the pink sky. And as you know, there's 3 Demon Realms. There's the red one, the green one, and the pink one. And the red one's number 1, the green one's number 2, the pink one's number 3. And so they're going to go to the third one first because that's where Glorio was sent from the king of that Demon Realm who has not been revealed yet. But also, Glorio talks about how he has a mission involving one of the other demon realms. So again, if your theory is that this guy is secretly working for Rinsu or has his own sort of plot to overthrow Goma, I would not discount that theory just yet. I think that by the end of the series, and this is not a spoiler, this is a theory, and it's a logical one. If you think that he's secretly a bad guy, it's possible. We'll find out. But they certainly are teasing that there's more to be revealed. And I like that. The thing about the Dragon Ball Daima show is that Dragon Ball Super was written arc to arc. So Toriyama would write the Universe 6 arc, then he would go on to write the Trunks arc with Goku Black, and then the Tournament of Power. Here, the entire show, the entire story has already been sort of pre-approved, so they can do foreshadowing and things like that while avoiding too many, loose ends and things of that nature. But there's still some retcons. Specifically retcons of things Toriyama has said in the past. When they land, Goku complains about the smell and the gravity. So it looks like the gravity of the Demon Realm is different than what he's used to, which can only make him stronger. Goku's a guy who's trained under gravity, not with this mini body, but with his adult body. So nothing too crazy for Goku, but just interesting, atmosphere. Akio Iyoku talked about how the Demon Realm has a slightly different atmosphere and genetically is different than the mortal realm. So, that's an example right there. Glorio reveals that there's this toxic gas or something like that, which is the cause of the smell and this sort of volcanic eruption that apparently happened at some point. they showed this awesome giant golden statue of Deborah, and the first thing that popped in my head was either Jebediah Springfield from the old Simpsons episodes with the big statue, or Mr. Satan at the end of GT, how he's got his statue with Goku's statue. But apparently Deborah was either very well respected in this part of the demon realm, or he's one of these, like, probably more the latter, one of these sort of oppressing dictators to where he wants everybody to worship him. But it was pretty funny seeing that, and it's a nice touch. Also, I forgot to mention earlier that when they go into warp or whatever, he literally turns around and craps them out of his ass. Like, they literally pop out of his rear end into the demon realm. Also, they find this, like, tunnel. It was in the trailer, and the tunnel is what's supposed to give you access to the other two demon realms from the demon realm itself. And it seems to be locked. Sort of like, again, like an RPG, dude. Like, this is so inspired by Japanese role-playing games. It's wild. Like, there's so much of that in this show. So remember earlier in the review where I mentioned there might be some retconning going on? Well, Glorio reveals that the Supreme Kai, and maybe all the Supreme Kais, are what's referred to as a Glind. And Glinds are from the second demon realm. So basically, people have been saying, are the Kais from the demon realm too? Like, is everybody from there? I don't know about everybody, but it does appear like the Kais are from the second demon realm. Now, does this contradict what Toriyama said in the past? Not necessarily, and I'm going to go into more detail on this in my Easter eggs video, so make sure you keep an eye out for that. Make sure you have all notifications turned on. If you have not been getting notified, you unsubscribe, then resubscribe and enable the notifications, then hit the notification bell, set it to all, because there's a glitch in YouTube where not all notifications are sent out. So make sure you do that so you don't miss that video, because I'm going to go real deep into that lore in that video. So then we get some action as Goku, Supreme Kai, and Glorio are confronted, sort of, by this tribe of trolls that have spears and arrows, and they're throwing them at Goku, and Goku's still not used to the gravity, still not used to his body, so Glorio has to step in with his blaster and fires it at them, and they run away. This is so reminiscent of the Tusken Raiders from Star Wars. They even look sort of like that, except with Toriyama's touch. They have the spears and, sort of antiquated old weapons, and Glorio with his technology is able to fire at them for them to disperse. This, again, so much Star Wars, but we're not done. Then Glorio takes them to this, like, hotel area where they're going to stay at, because the next day they're going to go meet the king of the third demon realm, the one who sent Glorio on the mission. Well, what happens is, once again, 1977 Star Wars, Goku gets hungry and he wants to have some food because Glorio interrupted him eating. So they go down to the this little bar area, this bar and grill area, this pub. Very Star Wars-like. Again, there's so much of that in Daima, and I love the old Star Wars movies, so I'm in. I'm for it. So as they're in the pub eating, Goku's eating a hamburger, this big demon-looking guy who looks a lot like Drum from Demon King Piccolo's children from the old Demon Clan. There's no question there's influence there, that, like, Toriyama remembered that design. He notices that Goku has round ears, and it's sort of like, again, in Star Wars, they're droids. Their kind aren't welcome here. Same thing. And of course, this leads to a scuffle. This is so much fun because it's Goku and Glorio together taking on these demons in this pub, and Goku's fighting them off while eating. The dude's got a burger in his mouth battling these lower level demons. Hey, and look, Glorio had a cool move. One of the demon guys tried to grab him. He twisted him into like a one-armed sort of hammerlock. That was awesome, yo. Glorio, I'm curious to see what else Glorio knows as far as fighting goes, because this was a cool little moment for him. He also does this awesome reverse elbow to the grill piece. Awesome, man. Like, and the animation is so fluid. You know how it is. Meanwhile, Goku's like avoiding these axes. He's dropping elbows on dudes. He's kicking them. Just, You know, it really does remind me of early Dragon Ball, how Goku, just him and the pole going up against like dinosaurs and these bandits. This is kind of like that. As I mentioned, this part of Daima is more OG Dragon Ball influence. Then the Z part will come in when the Super Saiyan forms come in very soon, and then more GT and Super stuff later. So Goku just humiliates them with a burger in his mouth. That night they go to sleep, and the next day, guess what happened? The ship, the Glorio airplane as they call it, his craft has been stolen. So that is your cliffhanger for episode 3. Next week, more fights, according to the brief preview that we got. The introduction of the masked Majin, as well as how are they going to get Glorio's ship back? That remains to be seen. The episode was fine for what it was, half lore, half action, and now we're going to get more action next week. So finally we're going to have some fights and, you know, cool moments to see. Goku fighting with a cheeseburger in his mouth or whatever, that was a fun, like something different. You know, we see Goku fight, we see Goku eat. We don't really see Goku eat and fight at the same time. And we saw it here. So it took 40 years for us to see that. I like the episode. Nothing too crazy, not yet, but the story's still building. We'll see what happens next week. Don't forget Sunday's the stream, Easter egg video tomorrow. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. I will see you then, and take care of yourself and each other.